They weren't myths, they were real rebels who dared to defy empires and chains. Through AI, we bring their faces back to life and honor their fierce resistance. These are the true faces of slave rebellion leaders, remembered forever. This is Gabriel Prosser, an enslaved blacksmith who led a failed slave rebellion in Virginia in 1800. Gabriel's plan for a mass uprising was discovered before it could be carried out, and he was arrested and executed. In his colorized portrait, Gabriel's face reveals the determination and intelligence of a man who sought to challenge the system of slavery. Though the rebellion was crushed, Gabriel's efforts marked an early attempt to resist the brutal oppression of slavery, and his legacy endures as a symbol of rebellion and hope. This is Queen Nanny of the Maroons, a legendary leader of the Jamaican Maroons who fought against British colonizers and enslavers. Queen Nanny led her people in the First Maroon War, where they successfully resisted British forces and established free, independent communities in the mountains of Jamaica. Her colorized portrait shows a fierce and strategic leader who used both guerrilla tactics and diplomacy to protect her people. Queen Nanny is celebrated as a symbol of resistance to colonialism and slavery in the Caribbean. This is Madison Washington, an enslaved man who led a rebellion aboard the ship the Creole in 1841. After being illegally enslaved in the US, Washington managed to seize control of the ship and escape to freedom in the British Caribbean. His colorized portrait reveals the courage and ingenuity of a man who defied the chains of slavery, ultimately finding freedom and aiding others in their pursuit of liberty. Washington's story is a powerful testament to the lengths one would go to secure freedom from oppression. This is Samuel Sharp, an enslaved man who led the 1831 Baptist War, also known as the Christmas Rebellion, in Jamaica. Sharp, a Baptist deacon, organized a large-scale revolt against the brutal system of slavery in Jamaica. His rebellion led to significant changes, including the eventual abolition of slavery in the British Caribbean. In his colorized portrait, Sharp's face reflects the righteous anger of a man who, despite being enslaved, sought justice and freedom for himself and his fellow people. His legacy remains a symbol of resistance and change. This is Josiah Henson, an enslaved man whose life inspired the character of Uncle Tom in Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin. Henson escaped slavery and became a prominent abolitionist and preacher in Canada. His colorized portrait reveals the resilience and determination of a man who overcame the cruelty of slavery and dedicated his life to advocating for the freedom of others. Henson's work in both the abolitionist movement and as a founder of a community for fugitive slaves has cemented his place in the history of the fight against slavery. This is Jean-Jacques Dessalines, one of the leaders of the Haitian Revolution and the first emperor of Haiti. Dessalines played a crucial role in the defeat of French colonial forces, leading to Haiti's independence. His colorized portrait captures the resolve and military genius of a leader who fought not only for his own freedom but for the freedom of all Haitians. Dessalines is remembered as a symbol of liberation, a fearless leader who became the founding father of the first independent Black republic in the world. This is Cudjo, a leader of the Maroons in Jamaica during the First Maroon War. Born into slavery, Cudjo escaped and led the Maroon community in resisting British colonization. His strategic brilliance and leadership helped his people successfully defend their freedom for decades. Cudjo's colorized portrait shows the strength and courage of a leader who fought against overwhelming odds. His legacy lives on in Jamaican history as a symbol of resistance to colonial oppression and a protector of the Maroon people's autonomy and culture. This is Amilcar Cabral, a revolutionary leader from Guinea-Bissau and Cape Verde, who fought for independence from Portuguese colonial rule. As the leader of the African Party for the Independence of Guinea and Cape Verde, PAIC, Cabral spearheaded a successful armed resistance and political movement against European colonial powers. His colorized portrait shows the calm yet determined face of a leader whose intellectual and strategic brilliance guided his people toward independence. Cabral is remembered as a symbol of African liberation and decolonization. This is Queen Makeda, better known as the Queen of Sheba, a legendary ruler from the ancient kingdom of Sheba, modern-day Ethiopia or Yemen. Though not a rebellion leader in the conventional sense, Queen Makeda's defiance against imperial powers and her journey to meet King Solomon are symbols of power, wisdom, and sovereignty. Her colorized portrait shows a regal leader with the strength to navigate political and cultural battles. Her story has remained a symbol of leadership and independent rule in African history. This is Spartacus, a gladiator and leader of the most famous slave revolt against the Roman Empire. The Third Servile War, led by Spartacus, became one of the largest and most significant slave uprisings in history. His colorized portrait reflects the fierce determination and leadership of a man who challenged one of the most powerful empires of his time. Spartacus's legacy as a symbol of resistance lives on, inspiring countless generations to fight for freedom and justice, regardless of the odds they face. This is Nat Turner, an enslaved African American who led one of the most significant slave uprisings in U.S. history. Turner's rebellion in 1831, known as the Southampton Insurrection, was an act of defiance against the institution of slavery. In his colorized portrait, Nat Turner's intense gaze reveals the spirit of a man who, driven by religious fervor, sought to end the suffering of his people. Though his rebellion was crushed, Turner remains a powerful symbol of the fight for freedom and justice.